My name is Oluwakemi Akinola Adedeji. I am Senior Manager, People and Culture at the ULSN Group, and I am also the founder of Ludzi.co and co-founder of Jelly's Academy. I did not start out as an HR professional. I actually wanted to do finance, and I actually started out as an accountant. So I did my ICANN. I studied business administration at the University of Ilorin, and I was really good at what I was doing, and I loved accounting. But I just knew that there was a people side to me. And right from when I was in my 200 level, I started writing CVs for people in 400 level, in 500 level that were about to graduate. So I just knew that I had flair for that. And it was making me money while I was in school. So I just knew that I had a path in this thing called people management and just HR. And even after doing, accounting and finance for a bit, I still went ahead to do project management before delving into HR. So it was while I was in project management and I was having to deal with a lot of people, processes that I eventually veered deeply into HR. So I'll say HR found me, basically.
This is #50 African Stories. 41 stories discovered, 9 to go. Prepare to be inspired.
It's time to talk.
So while I was in the University of Ilorin, to be honest, that singular decision that I took really changed the course of my career. I took a risk to, go for this particular interview with ARM. My parents didn't know I was in Lagos. I'll be thanking my friend Deborah, who was an orphan that emptied her account for me and said, "Oh, you have this interview." I couldn't tell my parents I wanted to come to Lagos. So she had to put all her money together, give it to me, and then I came without anybody knowing I was on the road. And, I aced that interview while I was doing my exams. I actually got a call from ARM that I had gotten into the internship. But another opportunity came up again in the oil and gas sector, and I was supposed to go to One in Rivers State. My dad was like, "Over my dead body, would you leave your final exams and go for that particular internship?" I wish I did, to be honest. I could have always come back to write my final exams, even if I probably would have an extra year. I didn't mind really, but I'm still happy that I was able to do the ARM one because that really exposed me to a lot. It kick-started my career, in an amazing way. I was in HQ. I was exposed, a lot of their services. That alone really exposed me to what, eventually became what is my career now. And I must say that if you're going to really do something phenomenal in life, risk is a huge part of that journey. You don't have to see the full staircase, just take the first step. If it fails, it fails. But you wouldn't even know if you're going to succeed or not if you haven't even tried. If you try and you fail, you really did not fail. That is one step closer to your success. For me, if I would be doing anything differently, even when I begin to have my kids, I would be like, take the risk. If you want to do something, just do it. Like, just go Nike, just do it. Like, you don't have to be scared that I'm not going to support you. If along the way you fail, that's fine. Failure is okay. But I think I was so conscious of what my parents would think, what people would think, and I must also applaud them. When they saw that succeeded, they began to back me up in every single way. Like, they decided to make sure that anything I wanted to do, they just allowed me to do it. Because again, that was supposed to be an unpaid internship, but ARM ended up paying us really well, and they didn't tell us they were going to pay us, and it was just like the best experience. Even for my parents, it was like the best experience for them because they saw me in a different life, and I think it definitely paid off. First and foremost, people have a lot of misconception that HR is a hiring and firing department. I must say it very clearly. In most organizations, your line manager is more important to your growth and to your success than the human resources department. I'll say that again. In every organization, who you report to is the most important factor. Your boss and your boss's boss. That's who your boss also reports to. That chain of command is more important than whatever HR has to say about you. HR is the neutral party between management and employees. HR will not look into, for instance, the finance department or the marketing department or the research department and want to go and fire someone within that department. That will be usurping authority, okay? It's the manager or the departmental lead of that department, but that must have probably put you in for an exit. As a matter of fact, your line manager is who you should be worried about. A lot of you have line managers that are killing you from behind and using HR as a front. That's what happens a lot of times. That's one of the major misconceptions. If you have HR as your friend, you are likely to go very far in the organization because the HR department has an aerial view of what's going on. You have a tunnel view. You can only see what's in front of you. You can only see what you're coming from, what is behind you. But the HR department has an aerial view of what is going on across all departments. So if you have an HR person as your friend, they can tell you, don't go this way, because we sort of see where the company is going to before you even get to see it. Because we see what's going on in the sales department. Is money coming? Is money not coming? We can see it. So if anything is going to happen, the HR department knows first. So it's more in your best interest to have the HR department as your friend than as your enemy. I was in project management when the head of HR at the time in that organization was relocating abroad. The HR manager herself said, my successor is going to be Kemi, even though she's not in the HR department. She's stood out in holding forth in the Abuja office. She's going to be my successor. And management took a bet on me. I think the major challenge was me taking a bet on myself to ensure that I did not fail them. Because I wasn't in HR. I learned on the job. I read newsletters. I watched YouTube videos. I did a lot of courses. I learned from people's experiences. So I did a lot of learning. And that's one thing people don't know. You can be better at anything than even people that you met there. It depends on how much you're willing to commit yourself to that course. You can be a beast at it. All you just need to do is to commit yourself consistently to that thing. Even if people actually were born with it, you can surpass people that are born with that innate ability if you're able to commit yourself to learning. The problem right now that we have in our generation, people do not even want to learn. People don't want to filter through information, pick what is most important to them, and use that information to their advantage. People want ready-made. People want like microwave success. Nothing comes in a day. I had to commit, to about 5 years of consistent, long life learning, and I'm still learning. I'm doing, for instance, 7 hours of learning on a daily to really expose me to that field, and not just within Nigeria but globally. So anything that you're able to conceive, you can achieve if you're able to commit to that lifelong learning. And that was like the major challenge that I faced, having to bet on myself to do that. One of the major things that I have learned and I've taken out of my experience as an HR person at ULS and as a senior manager specifically is that you as an HR person, you can never be separate from the business. You must even know the business as much or even more than the business leaders. Because as an HR department or as an HR person, you're supposed to be that advisor, advocate for employees, advisors to management. And you cannot advise on what you don't know. You cannot advocate for who you do not know. So you have to, first and foremost, know the business, understand the in and out of the business. You have to be able to engage with business leaders. You have to understand what's going on in the sales department in-depthly. You have to understand what is going on in the market. You have to know their challenges. Because it is in so doing that you will understand how to advise them appropriately. That's one thing I've been able to take away. Business partnering. You have to actually understand the business. You have to understand it so much so that if they call you to come and lead that business, you won't say, oh, I'm just an HR person. You can indeed lead it because you have the data. Like you follow the money, you understand, the challenge, you understand what the risks are, you understand the macroeconomic challenges, the microeconomic challenges. You have to understand what is in the business. You have to understand exactly what is going on in the business for you to be able to advocate for employees and advise the business leaders. It's in that knowing that the business leaders will indeed respect you and also be able to listen to you when you talk. At any point in time, first and foremost, you can change your career path. First and foremost, don't even box yourself. Right now, I'm a 2-time founder. I have founded Jelly's Academy and I have founded Ludzi.co. Jelly's Academy is a coding school that teaches coding to students globally. And in fact, most of our students are in North America, Asia, and in Europe. And one thing that I've come to realize is that I never knew I was going to do that at any point in time, with Jelly's Academy. I never knew I was going to start an HR consulting company, which is now Ludzi.co. I never knew. I found out that career path as I just, went with my career. But one thing I'm going to tell you, in finding out what you really want to do and what you really love, you can only do that by exploring different things. Don't say, oh, I don't know what I want to do, but you're not trying out anything. How then do you know what you want to really do? So try out multiple things: content creation, influencing, HR, accounting, finance. like intern a lot with with a lot of organizations. Because when you do different things, it's just like salad. When you do different things, very soon you know how to build your own salad, because you now know that, oh, when I tasted that raisin, I didn't like it. I like cucumbers, I like carrots, because you have done several things. You can build your own career by doing several things and then narrowing down to what you really want to do. So it's okay to not know at the beginning, but as you try out several other things, you will then be able to narrow down and say, when I tried this, and that, I really liked ABC. And that's what I then also build my career on. So you only know by trying, and you try by doing. I am an African, and this is my story.